Imagine you're a prisoner of war. You're locked in a German camp. Barbed wire surrounds you. Guards watch constantly. You've been captured. Your freedom is gone. Your family thinks you might be dead. You're thousands of miles from home, deep in enemy territory. Escape seems impossible. But then someone has an idea, a crazy idea, a plan so audacious that nobody thinks it will work. What if you could hide in something the guards see every day? What if they watched you dig your escape tunnel without realizing what was happening? What if you built a wooden horse, not for a prison, but to hide an escape tunnel? This is the story of the wooden horse escape, the greatest POW escape of the Second World War, a plan so brilliant that it seemed like fiction. 3 British pilots, a wooden horse, and a tunnel dug right under the noses of the German guards. This actually happened in 1943 at a German POW camp called Stalag Left 3, an escape so perfect that it's been told and retold for over 80 years, but most people still don't know the full story. How did 3 men manage to dig an escape tunnel for months without being discovered? How did they use a wooden horse to hide what the guards would have killed them for? And how did all 3 of them actually make it home? This is about more than just an escape. This is about human ingenuity, about men refusing to accept defeat, about the will to survive when everything is stacked against you. From the moment of capture to the desperate dash for freedom, this is a story of courage that changed the way we think about POW camps forever.
Let's start with the men behind the escape. 3 British pilots captured during the war. Flying Officer Eric Williams, Flying Officer Oliver Philpott, Flying Officer Michael Codner. All RAF pilots, all shot down, all prisoners of the Nazis. According to declassified military records and documented POW testimonies, Williams was shot down in 1942 while flying an RAF Blenheim bomber. Philpott was captured after his Spitfire was shot down. Codner was downed in his fighter. All 3 found themselves in the same place, Stalag Luft 3, a German camp for Air Force officers. According to documented camp records and prisoner testimonies, Stalag Luft 3 was in Sagan, Germany, a heavily guarded compound. The camp held hundreds of RAF and American pilots, all of them looking for a way out. According to documented accounts and declassified prisoner records, the conditions weren't as brutal as other camps, but escape was considered virtually impossible. The camp was surrounded by barbed wire, guard towers positioned to see everything, perimeter guards who would shoot without hesitation. And beyond the camp, enemy territory for hundreds of miles in every direction. You couldn't just walk out, you had to have a plan. According to declassified escape records and prisoner testimonies, escape attempts were constant. Prisoners dug tunnels. Some were discovered, some weren't. Some men made it, some didn't. In the camp, there was a compound where prisoners exercised, a sandy area where they played sports. The guards let them use this space because it was inside the perimeter. The prisoners saw opportunity. According to documented accounts by the escapees themselves, Eric Williams had an idea. What if they'd built a wooden horse, a vaulting horse, something the guards would see as innocent sports equipment? According to their own testimonies and documented records, the plan was brilliant in its simplicity. Prisoners used the horse every day for physical training. The guards watched them vault over it, the same routine, every single day. But what they didn't realize was what was happening inside and beneath the horse, what the prisoners were digging while they worked. According to detailed escape accounts and prisoner testimonies, Williams, Philpott, and Codner assembled a team. Some prisoners would vault over the horse, creating noise and distraction, drawing guard attention. Others would hide inside the horse, working to dig the tunnel, passing dirt out hour after hour, day after day. According to documented accounts, the security measures were extraordinary. They had to be perfect.
The wooden horse had to look absolutely authentic. According to documented escape records and prisoner testimonies, The prisoners couldn't just build any horse. It had to be real enough to fool the German guards. The guards had seen vaulting horses before. They'd recognize a fake immediately. According to detailed accounts by the escapees, the horse was constructed using materials scrounged from the camp. Wood from beds, nails from old equipment. Everything had to come from inside the camp without raising suspicion. But the real genius was the design. The horse had a hollow interior, a space where men could hide. According to documented records and prisoner accounts, the horse stood about 5 feet tall. It had 4 legs and a saddle on top. It looked exactly like a legitimate vaulting horse. But inside, it was hollow, and beneath it, that's where the tunnel began. According to escape testimonies and declassified camp records, the engineering was sophisticated. Prisoners had to figure out how to hide the horse when it wasn't being used, how to position it exactly over the tunnel opening every day, how to move men in and out without the guards noticing, how to remove the dirt from the tunnel without it being seen. According to documented accounts, the plan was this. During exercise time, prisoners would carry the horse into the compound. They'd position it over the tunnel shaft. Men hiding inside would climb down. They'd dig for hours, while guards watched prisoners vault over the horse. The guards thought they were watching sports. They didn't realize they were watching a spectacular escape plan in action. The dirt from the tunnel had to go somewhere. That was the hard part. According to documented escape records, prisoners developed a system. They'd hide loose dirt in their trousers. When prisoners walked back to their barracks, they'd scatter the dirt in the compound, spreading it thin where guards wouldn't notice, where the ground would absorb it naturally. According to their own testimonies, the prisoners were moving tons of earth, week after week, month after month. But the horse never aroused suspicion. The guards became so used to seeing it that they stopped thinking about it at all. According to documented records and prisoner accounts, this was the brilliance of the plan: security through visibility. By hiding the tunnel in plain sight under something the guards saw every day, they made the tunnel invisible. The guards weren't looking for something obvious. They were looking for the impossible. They never found it because it was hiding in the most visible place in the camp. Now let's talk about what happened beneath the horse, the tunnel itself. According to escape testimonies and documented records, the tunnel was narrow, barely wide enough for one man to squeeze through. It was dark, damp, cold, difficult to work in. According to documented accounts by the escapees, the digging was brutal. Men working in shifts, never long enough to accomplish much, but long enough to make steady progress. According to escape records, the tunnel had to go far enough to clear the outer fence. That was roughly 100 feet from the horse. 100 feet, through sandy soil, using improvised tools, with no guarantee they wouldn't be discovered. If a guard saw unusual activity, if camp authorities got suspicious, if a tunnel collapse exposed what was happening, it would be over. According to documented testimonies, the men working in the tunnel lived with constant fear. Fear of collapse, fear of discovery, fear of being shot when they were caught. According to documented accounts and declassified records, some tunnels in camps were discovered. Some prisoners died trying to escape. The men in the wooden horse knew the stakes. They knew what would happen if they failed. According to their own testimonies, Eric Williams and the others had to maintain absolute discipline. They couldn't show strain, couldn't act suspicious, had to maintain the appearance of normal prison routine while digging themselves out. According to documented escape records, the tunnel progressed slowly, week by week, month by month. According to accounts and testimonies, by late March 1943, the tunnel was complete. It stretched roughly 100 feet. It was deep enough that the Germans wouldn't easily find it if they looked. But now came the critical moment, the actual escape. According to documented accounts and prisoner testimonies, they couldn't just open a hole and let everyone out. Too many people escaping would trigger an immediate alarm. The camp would lock down. Pursuit would begin immediately. So they planned to send the first 3 men,
three pilots who had the best chance of reaching Switzerland. According to documented escape records and first-hand accounts, on March 27, 1943, the escape began. Prisoners carried the wooden horse into the compound. They began their exercises. Guards watched. Nothing seemed unusual. But inside the horse, Eric Williams, Oliver Philpott, Michael Codner. They climbed down into the tunnel for the last time. This was it. Freedom or capture. There was no middle ground. According to their own accounts, they crawled through the tunnel, through the darkness, through the earth. Every inch seemed to take forever. They could hear guards above. They could hear prisoners vaulting over the horse. The tunnel seemed endless, but according to documented accounts, it was only about 100 feet. It just felt like forever. According to escape testimonies, when they finally broke through at the other side, they were outside the camp, beyond the fence, on the edge of freedom. But they weren't safe yet. They were still in enemy territory. They still had to evade German forces, still had to reach neutral Switzerland. According to documented accounts and prisoner records, the three men faced an incredible challenge. They had forged papers, but the papers might not hold up under scrutiny. They had money, but not much. They had the clothes on their backs, but they looked like escaped prisoners. According to their own testimonies, all three men made it. All three reached Switzerland. All three survived the war and made it home.
Let's talk about what happened after they got out of the tunnel. According to documented escape accounts and prisoner testimonies, the three men emerged outside the camp at night. They were in enemy territory. They had to move carefully, had to avoid German patrols. According to their own accounts, Eric Williams headed toward Denmark. He had a plan to reach neutral Sweden. Oliver Philpott planned to head toward Switzerland. Michael Codner did the same. Three men, three directions, three separate escape routes. According to documented testimonies, Williams traveled for days, hiding during the day, moving at night, using his forged papers when necessary. According to his own account and declassified records, he eventually reached Rostock, a German port city. He stowed away on a ship headed for Sweden. According to documented records, he made it to Sweden. From there, he was able to reach Britain. He survived the war. According to documented accounts, Philpott traveled south towards Switzerland. He caught a train headed in that direction using forged papers. The conductor checked his papers for what must have felt like an eternity. According to Philpott's own account, the conductor examined them carefully. But the papers held up. The documents were good enough. The conductor waved him on. According to documented records and his testimony, Philpott made it to Switzerland. He reached neutral territory. He was free. According to documented accounts, Codner also traveled towards Switzerland. Like Philpott, he used forged papers and careful planning. According to his own testimony, he also made it. All three escaped. All three survived. All three lived to tell their story. According to documented records and camp histories, the escape was discovered relatively quickly. The Germans realized men were missing. They searched the camp thoroughly. They eventually found the tunnel. According to documented accounts, the Germans were amazed. How had they dug such a sophisticated tunnel without being discovered? How had the horse concealed the operation for months? How had the prisoners managed to move men and dirt without being caught? According to camp records and German reports, the tunnel discovery was humiliating for the camp authorities. They had been fooled by a wooden horse, a piece of sports equipment. The Nazis had been outwitted by Allied prisoners. According to documented accounts and historical records, the wooden horse escape became a legend. It was written about, talked about, eventually turned into a film. It became the most famous POW escape of World War II. But the really remarkable thing? All three men made it home. All three survived the war. All three lived to tell their story.
The wooden horse escape changed how the world thought about prisoner of war camps. It showed that even in the most secure prisons, human ingenuity could find a way out. According to historical analysis and military records, the escape proved that POW camps were vulnerable to sophisticated planning. German authorities became more paranoid, more suspicious. They increased security. But they couldn't stop escapes because they couldn't stop the human will to be free. According to documented accounts, all 3 men returned to Britain. Williams, Philpott, and Codner all survived the war. They became heroes. Their story was celebrated, but only after the war. According to historical records, their escape inspired other prisoners, inspired hope, proved that freedom was possible. The wooden horse became a symbol of British ingenuity, of the will to survive, of refusing to accept defeat. If this story moved you, if the wooden horse escape captured your imagination, hit like and subscribe for more WWII legends. Comment below, would you have had the courage to dig that tunnel? What's the most incredible escape story you know? Next week, we're covering The Great Escape and how it inspired one of cinema's greatest films. Thank you for watching. Keep remembering the men who refused to be imprisoned.